Hi, my name is Ken Rolfness, and welcome to the Show Me the Money formula. Now, before we begin, I would like you to think of a few things. A, when would you like to retire? In 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? B, how much money per month would you like to retire on? $1,000 a month, $3,000, $5,000 or more each month? And C, how much money invested at 6% do you need to get that figure? The way you get that is you take your answer from B and you multiply it by 200. In other words, if you said you wanted to make $5,000 a month, you would have to have $1 million invested at 6% in order to return that. What we're about to show you is a formula that is irrefutable. It does work if you apply the principle. Now, the three things that most people want to know about a business is, 1, what is it? 2, how much money can I make? And 3, what do I need to do to make that money? Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but today we'll be discussing the rule. The company is called Tahitian, Noni International. That is the 4th fastest growing company in recorded history in just its first 7 years. The only 3 companies that outdid this company was number 1 was Google, number 2 was Federal Express, number 3 was Intel, and T&I was number 4. And we came ahead of everybody else: Sony, Walmart, Nike, Microsoft, Marriott, McDonald's. In fact, it took Microsoft 10 years to do half of the 50-year sales of this company. That's impressive. As far as validation, I prefer to use media validation. This product, its flagship product, has been featured on the Discovery Channel, and most people know if your product and company were on the Discovery Channel, then you got something pretty special. It's been featured on CNN, Rosie O'Donnell, CNBC, Good Morning America, CBS Market Watch, ESPN, Brisbane Extra Current, and so many others. It's not funny, and in so many different countries in so many different languages. But some people want to know, what about the medical field? Well, this product has been listed in the physician's desk reference. And if you ask any doctor what that means, they'll tell you that is about as good as it gets. Now to business. If you can answer yes to these 3 questions, then you possess the ability to make fortunes. Question 1. Do you want to make a lot of money, and why? You see, if you don't know why you want to make a lot of money, the how doesn't matter. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter which road you take. Question 2, do you have or can you get $200 within a week? And in some people's instance, they like to do it within a day, within a few days, within a week, a month, a year. We just choose to use weeks for this particular formula. And question 3, do you know 5 people by the following week that can answer yes to these 3 questions? If you can answer yes to these 3 questions, then follow this next formula. Now, in most businesses, you'll basically receive a percentage of the value of your product, and then you sell it at retail, and this is what comes up with your commissions. Well, in our particular business, it's similar. We get 20% of 120, which gives us $24. On the next row down, we get 5% of $120, which is $6. Again, another 5%, which is $6. Again, another 5%, which is $6. And in the bottom row there, we get 10%, which is $12. We now know how much money we make when product is moved on different levels. Now let's go to the second half of our formula. At the top of the page, it says question number 3. And if you remember, question number 3 was, do you know 5 people by the following week that can answer yes to these 3 questions? Let's assume that it's next week and you did what you said you'd do. You found those 5 people. You may have had to talk to 10, 20, 30 people, but you found them. Let's write 5. And there you have it. There's a formula. Starting from the left to the right, we get 20% of $120, which is $24. We brought 5 people into the organization, so 5 times $24 gives us $120. Now let's go to the second week. Now remember, this can be weeks, months, years, days. It's strictly a formula. Well, we get 5% of $120, which is $6. Now, here is one of the secrets to our business. If you can understand this, then you've got one of the best things out there. Last week was your first week in the business, and you said yes to question number 3, which was, do you know 5 people? This is now your second week in the business. How many people would you think you personally need to bring into the business? Now, it's a trick question here. Well, most people say 5 or 10. But the reality is this. If you found those 5 people that answered those 3 questions, then you bring in 0. You're done. This is now your second week, but it's those 5 people's first week. And they all said yes to the same 3 questions you said yes to. And the third question was, do you know 5? So those 5 get their 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. We get $6 each. So $6 times 25 people gives us $150. So in 2 weeks, if we did nothing more than follow this formula, we would have our full investment back and have some money left over to be able to go to the movies and out to dinner. Let's go to the third week. Now remember, this can be weeks, months, or years, or days. So we get $6 each on that row. Last week was those 25 people's first week. And so 25 times 5 is 125. We get $6 each. So $6 times 125 people gives us $750. Let's go to the fourth week. We have $6 each. We have 125 people. They all said yes to question number 3, which is, do you know 5? 5 times 125 is 625. We get $6 each there, so 6 times 625 people gives us $3,750. And then in the final week of this particular formula, we get 10%, which is $120. That gives us $12. Now we have 625 people that all said yes to the same 3 questions that you said yes to. And the third one is, do you know 5? 5 times 625 gives us 3,125 people. We get $12 each there. So $12 times 3,125 people gives us $37,500. If you were to total the 5 weeks, that would give you $42,270. But wait a minute. That's in a perfect world. That's if you get your 5, we get their 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 5. But we know we don't live in a perfect world. You might have the ability to get 5, but 5 might get 1. 1 might get 2. 2 might get none. So what if we follow Bill Gates' advice? He said the 3 keys to his success were being at the right place at the right time, having a vision of where an industry is going, and then the most important thing was taking immediate and massive action. So what if we took that immediate massive action and we fell short of $42,270 by 90%? It wasn't perfect. Would 10% of $42,270 be worth a $200 investment, a few phone calls, and some time? Well, it's $4,200. Most would say yes. Well, let's assume we didn't even do that good. Cut the $4,200 in half. Would $2,100 be worth a $200 investment and some time? Heck, we can even cut it down again. Would $1,050 be worth a $200 investment, a few phone calls, and some time? Most would definitely agree yes. And get this. In America, the government actually allow you certain benefits by having a home-based business. In fact, the average worker here in the States gets between $300 and $500 back a month, every month, because they have a home-based business. We have a friend of mine who was the youngest IRS tax auditor / examiner, and she's the one that told me about it. And she has a program called Get a Raise from Your Boss Without Even Asking them for it. It's phenomenal. It is said that most people don't remember what they get for their birthday or for their Christmas, but they always remember those times that they're spending with their family, friends, and loved one in different exotic locations around the world. Contact your friends straight away. Let them know that you can answer yes to those 3 questions, and let them know that you want to be able to get that raise from their boss. I tell you, if you follow what you've just seen here, this formula, you will be able to enjoy all that life has to offer. Take care.